We are told that Jesus was born of a virgin in Bethlehem in the most important birth in human history. The problem is, out of all the books in the Bible, only 2 of them tell the story, Matthew and Luke. The other 2 Gospels and all the other epistles and books of the New Testament never mention the birth story one single time.
Why? Do we need more than 2 books? Both Matthew and Luke already cover enough of it. They both say it happened. As for the other books, none of the books does not say that it did not happen. So as a whole there is no problem there.
But as we will see, Matthew and Luke tell greatly differing stories that are obsessed with making sure that Jesus fulfills Old Testament prophecies, no matter how awkward or unlikely the story becomes. Let me first focus on the similarities that these 2 stories share. First, angels relayed the good news that Mary was pregnant with Jesus. Second, that Joseph and Mary somehow got to Bethlehem for Jesus to be born. Third, baby Jesus had visitors after his birth. And fourth, the family then left Bethlehem and eventually ended up in Nazareth. Let's take these one at a time.
The Gospel according to St. Luke, chapters 1 and 2. And in the 6th month the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came in unto her, and said, Hail, thou that art highly favoured, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Jesus.
The Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapters 1 and 2. Behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto Joseph in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, being raised from his sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and he took unto him his wife, and knew her not until she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus.
So who was told, Mary or Joseph? Now the apologists will say, well, the angels told both, and the authors are just telling it from different angles. Well, fair enough, but let's see if they keep that up.
An angel told Mary first before the conception, as shown in the Gospel of Luke. Then Joseph was told, when she was found to be with child. He was about to divorce her quietly when the angel spoke in her defense.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king,
Matthew starts simple. Jesus was born there, and we'll see later that it's in a house. Presto, done. Luke must have heard that Joseph was not from Bethlehem, so he needed to get creative. And he goes a little overboard.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, and unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child.
So instead of just putting them there, Luke comes up with this crazy census. And it's here we have our first major problem. Writing nearly 80 years after the events, Luke didn't know that he would be fact-checked on historical events. Augustus ruled from 44 or 42 BC until 14 AD, but there is absolutely zero record of any empire-wide census. Sending illiterate people back to their ancestral home would have been impossible, and if done, would have turned the Roman Empire upside down. At the very least, it would have been recorded. Censuses were recorded. A lot. Cyrenius is also known as Quirinius. The names are interchangeable. While Quirinius was governor of Syria, he did conduct a census, but it was in the year 6 to 7 AD, and it wasn't the whole empire. It was just a local Judea census. But to further complicate things, Matthew said that all of this happened in the days of Herod. Herod was king until he died in 4 BC. So Herod had been dead 10 to 11 years before the census of Quirinius was conducted.
When Augustus died, he had 2 plaques erected in front of his mausoleum in Rome in which he listed the 36 things, for which he most wanted to be remembered. Point number 8. When I was consul the 5th time, 29 BCE. I increased the number of patricians by order of the people and Senate. I read the roll of the Senate 3 times, and in my 6th consulate. 28 BCE. I made a census of the people with Marcus Agrippa as my colleague. I conducted a lustrum, after a 41-year gap, in which lustrum were counted 4,063,000 heads of Roman citizens. Then again, with Consular Imperium I conducted a lustrum alone, when Gaius Censorinus and Gaius Asinius were consuls. 8 BCE. In which lustrum were counted 4,233,000 heads of Roman citizens. And the third time, with Consular Imperium, I conducted a lustrum with my son Tiberius Caesar as colleague, when Sextus Pompeius and Sextus Appuleius were consuls. 14 ACE. In which lustrum were counted 4,937,000 of the heads of Roman citizens. By new laws passed with my sponsorship, I restored many traditions of the ancestors, which were falling into disuse in our age, and myself I handed on precedents of many things, to be imitated in later generations. In summary, Augustus says that he not only took a census, but he took it 3 times. And what did his final census show? 28 BC showed 4,063,000 citizens. 8 BC showed 4,233,000 citizens. AD 14 showed 4,937,000 citizens. The census mentioned in the Nativity account was the provincial enrollment associated with the citizens' census of 8 BC.
And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
A manger. We hardly hear that word anymore, and if you do a simple Google image search for it, it's all pictures of baby Jesus, but a manger is basically a food trough. This has to be the most hygienically deficient birth in the history of births.
This was way before sanitation, at least our modern-day concept of it was even born. Still, they probably had the manger knowing the way moms are, and its surrounding areas clean.
Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Herod sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
How many wise men are there? I've always been told there were 3, but there could be just 2, or 5, or 10, 20, who knows? Anyone with scientific knowledge will also object to a star somehow pointing out the location of a house. It's a cute story, but it's impossible. And you notice that in Matthew, the wise men find the baby in a cozy house, and not laying down his sweet head in a container for horse spit and pig slop? And speaking of wise men, they aren't among the visitors named in Luke.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger.
A manger? Ew.